Welcome to Bloody Good Horror.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be discussing The Owners, not to be confused with The Lodge or The Rental or the fucking Airbnb or whatever million fucking movies we reviewed recently. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining me tonight, first up from Maryland. Is that what we decided last week, John? The fine state of...
I can't. This is the first time you've remembered a thing that I've told you
the fine,
week to week and
fine
many weeks.
state of Maryland. Please welcome John.
Maryland. Yeah, years.
John,
Exactly.
I'm getting a little concerned you're not using SPF on your beautiful face there. You look a little singed.
No, I've got a very nice tan going. I
you?
think I might just be. I had some wine, and I got a little red face
A
going.
little
on.
ruddy? Gotcha.
So, a little ruddy, yeah. A little ruddy.
Next up on the show,
little leathery.
from, I wasn't going to say it, from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight from Chicago, Illinois, he's getting no sun. I can tell you that from his video. Please welcome Joe to the show.
Not a goddamn thing. Just vitamin D deficient here in the city of second brotherly love,
Yeah.
second city,
Mhm.
second wind city.
The Windy City, I think I've heard that. Yeah. So we're doing we're doing The Owners tonight. This is a British film, which you can tell, John, by the British accents.
It's helpful.
Yeah.
It does help you locate yourself
With
geographically.
possibly the most vile, disgusting person I've ever seen in a movie. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, not talking about this person, but starring the lovely Maise Williams of Game of Thrones fame. And it's a whole thing. It's interesting. We're going to dig into that in a little bit here. But first, Joe, why don't you tell us what we are drinking tonight?
Beer guts.
Hey, The Owners. A delightful little tale about an elderly couple who goes out for their nightly meal and comes home and finds a group of ragamuffins looting their home. In honor of meals and dinners and whatnot, John, I picked a beer that they might have enjoyed while they were out. From the good folks at Capital Brewing, that is in I lost it here. That's in Middleton, Wisconsin. This beer is their Supper Club, John, and that is it's what they call a Wisconsin lager, which I believe is just a lager. Which, if you're familiar with your Budweisers and your Boston Sam Adams, you've had yourself a lager in the past. Although I guess Bud is the Pilsner, but Sam Adams, probably the most well-known lager out there. It's been a long week, John.
Just say beer names. You're good.
Hops, malt, water. So very sort of light, easy drinking beer. Comes in at only 5.2% alcohol, which, the idea is you're going to drink a few of these while you're enjoying your meal and, talk to the missus or whoever you're out there with and just have a good time. Not a ton of hops, but, a little bit of bite to this. Again, like the whole idea is, it just goes well with a nice, relaxing meal. And you just enjoy yourself. Capital Brewing, they have a bunch of brew pubs up in Wisconsin, but they also distribute their beers around the Midwest. So, if you get in the area, I definitely suggest going there. Delicious foods, John. And if you get a chance, go to your Friday night supper club or fish fry here in the Midwest, because that's really where it's at. Capitalbrewery.com is their website, and yeah, there you go. They can't all be zingers, John, but we're done.
Because dinner.
Yeah. Just because they ate dinner, John. I don't know.
Sounds delicious. Thank you for that, Joe. It is time. Let's take a quick break so that we can review The Owners.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
For real though, John, can we talk about how bad of a title that is for a movie? Like,
Yeah, it's not great. I don't disagree. I don't know. I mean,
call it-
what do you want him to call this movie?
make it interesting, right? Let's sell the sizzle a little bit here, John. Like, let's call it Butt Needle, right? Or
I would watch that movie. Now that you say that. So.
gross Cockney dude with a single fucking dreadlock in the back. Like, what?
Just everything
That's the title.
about him. Like I was thinking about this while I was watching. I'm like, we've reached a point where like I don't like making fun of people's looks on the show
Yeah,
because
I
like, I
mean,
feel like we'd mature, but like
It's okay.
fuck that guy. All right,
Yes.
he belongs in hell.
I don't want us to get too far into this guy. I think we got to carve out a whole section for
I
this guy.
felt like I could smell him
Oh,
Like,
just like in,
from
like,
here.
Oof, that nose was in 3D, like just coming through. Like we don't need to jump ahead, but like at one point they put on stockings to disguise themselves. Like, how the fuck could you not pick that guy out of a lineup? Like, there's no way. I don't care.
The
You put
stockings-
on like 4 masks, and I'm still gonna be able to tell that nose is under there.
Yeah, the stockings helped minimally, I feel like.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
All right, John.
Yeah.
George Hamilton is who I was thinking of, John, with your leather burnt face. You know, who that is?
Yeah,
I
very
feel like it
handsome.
may
I'll say
be
that.
like a webcam setting or something because you do kind of look like a boiled hot dog right now. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest.
You settle down. Everybody's a little worked up. Yeah, you know what? The light is a little weird, but
Okay. Still look
it's
the
also
same.
I have a pink shirt on, a salmon shirt, if you will, and so
A salmon.
it's
All right.
it's accentuating.
Yeah, you
the
do it. It
situation.
matches your hair clip.
Yeah, I got one pink hair clip. The other one's like a pale green. I think.
Jesus Christ, John. Okay, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word, mansion. That's MANSION.
I don't feel so bad about my beer now, John. Thanks.
Well, if I had thought of it, I might have gone with ragamuffin. But,
Latin
I
for
did.
large
So
home.
here- Well, yeah. So I was more interested in. I was looking up words
origin
that
is
you
Mance.
would use to describe. No, we'll get to it. That you would use to describe this home because it's a country estate of sorts. You could go manor. You could go chateau. Villa, although it's not really a villa. Mansion, whatever. It is what it is. A large, impressive house.
Doesn't really matter, John. Once you break
Well,
out
what do you
the
call yours, John?
John, John, once you break out
yes.
the pitchforks and the bonfire, doesn't really matter what you call it. now, does it?
That's true. What exactly? It's all semantics at that point. A manor house, which I think this could accurately be described as a manor house. The origin, manere, the Latin verb manere, meaning to remain.
Tomato sauce.
Remain.
Oddly enough, like a week ago, John, the wife and I were looking up like what qualifies as a mansion, and apparently it's not a term that's really used anymore, especially by realtors, because there's no like set definition for it.
No, you call anything a mansion.
Why were you looking this up?
Because I forgot we were driving through like.
Do we
some
live in
area.
a mansion?
Oh no, we were driving and like there was these houses, and I think Mia, my daughter, said like, "Oh, look at that mansion," and I'm like, I wonder if that really is like a like what's considered a mansion based on like size. So we started looking it up, and like there really is no like set definition.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. Well, you got to fill up the time. Eric.
Anyway, John, let's get back to your exciting thing.
The owners.
I
Shall
thought,
we?
weren't you giving me some kind of definition or some bullshit?
We did the full definition, and I gave you the origin, the etymology.
I feel unsatisfied, but that's fine. John,
Is there a nitrous leak in like all of our houses at the same time?
This is going great.
It's the slow, Joe. It's the slow, never-ending nitrous leak of 2020.
Christ.
John, why don't you tell me about the owners?
The owners. The Owners comes to us from Julius Berg, director Julius Berg, also co-wrote the film. Julius, interestingly enough, is a Frenchman, not a British citizen. Maybe he is actually, but he was born in France. Done a couple of other things, some TV stuff. He did a show, at least one show on Netflix. Nothing that I don't think we've seen anything. I mean, maybe you all have seen some of it, but so yeah, the first thing we've covered from him. Eric, as you mentioned, I would say the like name here is Maisie Williams for most American viewers. Although the sort of the actual, I would say, primary actor is this guy Sylvester McCoy, currently featured in an interview on bloodygoodhorror.com with our own Jason.
Yes.
And Casey, he was, I believe you said, the 7th Doctor Who.
Oh,
Yes, he was.
that's cool.
He was also Radagast the Brown in Joe's favorite movie, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
He's been in
know-
all of the Hobbit
Not-
films?
Did you know all this information, Casey, or did you have to look it up?
No, I actually knew who he was.
Did you know that he was the 7th? Did you know the 7th part?
No,
Okay.
I knew he was one of the doctors. Jason actually told me on Slack he was the 7th.
Got it. Just wanted to sleuth that out. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean, so
Do you need my nerd card, Eric?
No, that's okay. I
Really,
was just trying to
God.
listen. I was just give Jason his due, you know.
going at him hard. Yeah, I mean, so the basic outline, Joe kind of spelled it out. You have this group of, let's say, blue collar ish kids. I don't know, like I would guess they're like in their like late teens to early, probably more like early 20s. And they decide that they're going to break into essentially the local mansion. So this is somewhere, I mean, look, we'll just say it up front. We are not like experts in UK geography.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
are.
maybe
Yes,
you
we
all
are.
did some research while
Yes.
I wasn't looking, but
Yes, we are.
it's like a suburb, somewhere exurb out in the UK.
John, I saw that map in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I know pretty much everything
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I would assume that if you're watching this movie, there's like some specific aspects to like some of the shit that's going on. But let's just say you've got some.
Do we think this is like a period piece? Because they all have old cell phones, like very old cell phones, and Maisie Williams is wearing a weird denim jacket that seemed out of place.
Yeah, I read that as more like they were trying to code her as like it was just another way of kind of describing how not rich she was, I guess. You know,
they look like the gypsies in Snatch. Like they had Romney running about them, if that's the right term.
In any event, you've got these 3 guys. We meet them. They're like fishbowling a car, having a good old time, just kind of chatting. Maisie Williams comes up, and essentially we
Wait a
learn
minute.
that she's
What did
the
you just say?
Yeah, what the fuck is fish bowling?
You mean
Thank
hot
you.
boxing? They were hot boxing, John.
Yeah, you never call it fishbowling?
What kind of weird
No.
fucking shit? What kind of weird
I'm
white
looking this up.
like
See
fucking
if
fish?
anyone's ever called it that.
Fish bowling
I'm
is a
pretty sure
foul.
fishbowling. No, maybe
I
made that up
really,
right now.
really hope fish
No,
bowling is
fishbowl
some
in
sick sexual thing.
automobile that has absolutely no window tint installed, therefore everyone can see right through it. So
Well, it was a fishbowl.
Fish
I think there
bowl.
was
That
some
part was
tint to it,
accurate.
John.
You're so white, John.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I swear we used to call that in any
Well,
event.
whatever. Some weird Philly shit.
Maybe not. Maybe look, kids, feel free to use that. Feel free to borrow that with your friends.
No,
Whatever.
no, right here. Sorry. Definition number 3: the act of filling a vehicle with smoke from an illegal drug,
Nah, it's stupid.
marijuana.
Why? He wins.
Hot boxing is such a better term, John.
All
Yeah,
right, never
exactly.
mind. Don't use that. It's very passe. Don't, you kids.
Yes,
figure
because
out
all
a
the kids
term.
are taking their slang from 40-year-old white guys on podcasts.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying if they're listening,
They're not.
All right. In any event, so again, they do a lot of work to code these kids, these folks as bad folks, right? Like they are from the other side of the tracks. They're not wearing nice clothes. They are doing illegal shit, and they're talking about how they're going to rob this mansion. So it turns out this is the house of the town doctor, and it's actually the place where he does his doctor work as well. It's him and his wife. We see them leave, as Joe said, to go on a lovely dinner date. One of the folks who's going to rob the house is the son of the cleaning lady, and that's how they sort of know what's going on there. He's told them that there is a safe filled with a lot of money, although that's really all they know. So they break in, they find the safe, and they can't get it open. Maisie Williams, meanwhile, has shown up because they've borrowed her car. She can't get to work. she gets sort of lured in against her better judgment, not really against her will necessarily. And while they're all there, they can't get the safe open. There's a ringleader, the guy who is organizing this, but the guy who's really instigating, his name's Gaz. That's the character's name.
Mhm.
He is
Ugh.
the lovely gentleman
Ugh.
with
Even that
the
name.
unique haircut. And and he basically turns out to just be like a stone cold psycho.
Yes.
And convinces them, hey, rather than just take whatever, a couple, $1,000, a couple $100, and like having destroyed this house, rather than leave, let's just stay, wait till these guys get home, and we'll basically hold them hostage until they tell us the code to get the safe open. They do that. These folks come home. There's the doctor. They're both in their 70s, and the wife has Alzheimer's, and so there's this back and forth about sort of trying to protect her, but he won't tell them the combination of the safe. And it very quickly escalates into, I don't know, it's essentially a home invasion film, but that has a lot of wacky shit go on inside.
Okay. Joe, what do you think?
I knew very little about this, other than I think like the plot description on IMDb before we watched this, and so I kind of knew what we were getting into, and I don't think there's any big like surprises here. Like you kind of expect that something wacky is going to be happening when these folks get trapped in the house. So that being said, it felt to me like it took a little long to get to where it's going. So I was a little impatient with it, but once it got there, I thought it was pretty interesting. Like it's, they're not breaking new ground here, but there is like some fun elements. I think the elderly couple completely makes this movie. Like I think if, the other four characters were the main focus, I would have been really down on this, but I thought both of them were the elderly couple. I thought they were great. I thought they were like really interesting to watch. The elderly couple.
Yeah, they're kind of. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
But that being said, so I really enjoyed it. Like once things kind of went off, the end, and I don't even want to call it like a twist, but like the way they wrap things up, I really thought was kind of shoehorned in. Like it didn't. It was. I don't think it was necessary, and it just, I think it would have been fine if that whole part was left out. So, overall, I think I was mostly positive on this, but not like overwhelmed or in love by any means.
Casey.
Yeah, I'm right there with Joe. I think I read the plot description going in, so nothing was too surprising. And like John said, it's kind of a bog standard home invasion with some wacky stuff that happens, but it was entertaining. I was entertained and it held my attention throughout. Felt a little stretched in the middle. There was a part there that took too long to get there to the good stuff. But like the first act, third act were both pretty solid for a pretty watchable movie. And I really enjoyed some of the performances, especially with the old couple. They were both pretty great in this movie, and especially once things started heating up, and it was pretty fun to watch them chew up scenery.
John.
Yeah, this movie is a weird mix of a fairly straightforward plot. I mean, home invasion gone awry, but there's a lot of plot that ends up, being involved here. I mean, so Joe sort of mentioned the way that this kind of wraps up, or, I wouldn't even call it a twist because they do foreshadow it a fair bit, but there's just a lot of work, right? Like, so they set up this mystery of what's in the safe and why the doctor is essentially willing to allow some pretty terrible shit to happen to not open the safe. But then from there, the film goes just in a bunch of different directions. I think for me, the biggest problem I had is that you essentially have these four people who are breaking into the house. The two worst, the two scariest are essentially this Gaz character, which again, we should come back and we should just do a whole section on.
I don't like that word.
And then, Nathan then, who's the ringleader, the boyfriend of Maisie Williams, the two of them are definitely the sort of biggest threats, and they're eliminated pretty early in the film. I mean, somewhat of a spoiler, but it is what it is. And that the film then turns a little bit. I feel like it took a lot of for me at least, I felt like a lot of the tension came out. Now, I 100% agree. Like, so Sylvester McCoy, this actor who plays the doctor, and then the wife are both excellent. They do a great job. So like they're entertaining just to watch those two and to sort of watch them interact with these younger actors, but as a horror movie
they
and
get
as like a
fucking annoying after
as
a
a thriller, as a as a vehicle for thrills, like it kind of it lost a lot for me in that regard.
Yeah, I'm pretty on board with that. Like the first act is pretty solid. It's got a lot of tension. It's kind of like you guys were saying, like a pretty pretty normal kind of home invasion setup. I think that so I think the first act goes on a little too long. Like the first act really doesn't end until almost 40 minutes in, and then the movie's just kind of left to figure out where it's gonna go from there. And you basically killed off like the two biggest threats, like John says. The other problem here is that it doesn't even happen right away, but at some point, like Maisie Williams becomes the main character. She has by far the least character development in the movie. Like there's a backstory they give her, but I could not tell you anything about her personality or her life at all. Like they give you
And it
zero
gets a job, but
information.
slowly. Yeah, she has a job.
They give you zero information, and also what you have seen of her, like they don't even give you enough to really make her into like a really sympathetic character. Like other than just she's a person being so. And here's my other problem: being who the fuck knows, because this movie's gambit is that it wants to hold any information about what the fuck is happening until the very end of the movie, and the problem is that when they kill off these characters, they got fucking nothing for the second act except, and this is the point at which I started straight up hating these old people, because like, and I don't mean like they're villains, I mean like they're fucking annoying, like this weird lovey-dovey shit between them. I get that it's creepy in the beginning, but now the movie's not giving me any information on what the fuck is going on, but it's clearly telling me something is going on. There's no like tension happening. It's just two of them are drugged up and they're wandering around the house. This whole shtick with this guy and the way he talks to his wife, like, get the fuck out. Like, it's got so annoying after a while because it wasn't going anywhere. Like, the movie was not going anywhere. Like, I straight up took a break, like, an hour 10 into this movie and just fucking walked away. Because I'm like, if this thing isn't going to fucking tell me what's happening, I need a smoke break. Like, let's fucking... So, like...
Did you take up smoking?
No, I'm just kidding. But, like...
You were fishbowling her.
And I do think that it does an okay job.
Tossed in a lipper.
It does an okay job at giving you kind of a shocking ending, but the whole story with the one robber dude who kind of is still around at that point, it's so fucking convoluted. It doesn't make any sense. There's kind of a good moment there in the van at the end, like that's at least shocking, but it kind of falls apart for me. It is like if you're kind of
talking about wait, I think that's Terry, right? The cleaner
Terry. Yeah, if you can kind of shut
Yeah.
your brain off, it's a thriller with a couple moments to it for sure, and a pretty decent first act. But it kind of, for me, it just kind of falls apart after the first act.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Like I didn't have as much of a problem with the middle, and I actually like really enjoyed some parts, but like the ending for sure just like completely shit the bed for me.
Yeah.
And I had big problems.
I mean, like,
yeah. Go ahead. Go.
No, it's just weird how they've got nothing to reveal during the second act. They save it all for the third act, and it makes the second act just totally fall flat. Because, like,
Well,
and
I think
that
they
dude,
tried to
as listen,
reveal a little bit.
as disgusting as Dreadlock guy is, he's fucking terrifying, and like, he is all the tension in that first act.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
it's a good
definitely.
scene when they get rid of him, but it's like, okay, like, what are we doing now? You know, and then it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's all over the place after that.
No, he legit. I mean, because I mean, you all were joking about him earlier. That actor was scaring the shit out of me. Like he was. I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
I'm
he was making
afraid.
me-
I'm afraid to go to IMDb and find out this is his only role, and that this is actually just a person that exists
He's
out
been
in
in
the
a
world
ton of
somewhere.
stuff.
Yeah, he's been in. A
Okay,
bunch of
good.
stuff,
That
yeah.
makes me feel a little better.
But I don't know. I think we've all been in like a sketchy situation that we know we don't want to be in, and there's like some rando there that's making you like super uncomfortable,
Yeah, dude,
and you
yes.
wish
Yeah.
he was not there, and like that's that guy.
Yeah.
And like you're looking around the room and you're like, something awful is about to happen, and like this guy is going to be the cause of it, and like that guy is that.
Well, and he takes it to 11. I mean, he really. Every time I was like, he's getting pretty nasty. It managed to get sort of one level.
Yeah, I mean, all
crazier,
that and all that stuff is really good and super fucking
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah.
But like the Maisie's boyfriend did not do a good job picking out his little gang to help him out with this little heist,
And,
because
like-
the other guy was completely useless too.
This is the portion though in the beginning. The ball that they drop in the first act is giving us anything about Maisie Williams to connect us to her, so that when she's the one left, we care. Because it doesn't
Yeah.
even know what to physically do with her. For like 25 minutes, she's outside just honking the horn. Like it
No,
literally
well-
doesn't even know where to place her in this screenplay almost.
So I feel like the thing they tried to hang a lot on is her being pregnant. And
But again, it's
When I
not
say-
like that's not character development. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference between story and like character development.
Yeah.
Eric, I'm agreeing with you. I'm
You
saying
better.
they substituted the fact that like they basically reveal that she's pregnant. This isn't like a spoiler. It comes out very early, for developing any other type of character that
Right.
would lead to further tension.
It's more
what I
like
think.
it's more like very bargain bin like sympathy things you write into a script. Like she's pregnant and her sister's missing. It's like, okay, but who is she?
But see, that's
Yeah.
where. So the thing I will say, and this is weird because it's actually what's the opposite of a backhanded compliment? It's like a front-handed, whatever.
A fishbowl compliment.
Keep going.
Yes, exactly.
I think they call that a reach
something-
around.
Exactly. So
Rusty trombone.
it's essentially like, I actually think they, from a screenwriting standpoint, like what I at least appreciated, they did try to string through some of the exposition into the action, right? Like there weren't a whole lot of two people talking, revealing a bunch of shit to us. There's some of that for sure. I mean, you need some of that, but a lot of it actually does come up in, I don't know, more plot relevant ways. That said, it's left, as you pointed out, for way later in the film, and so you have to like care enough to get there, and even then it feels like a little too late. And then that's where I think the ending, as Joe sort of described, it's not even that it feels unearned. It just, is there a little bit of like, what in the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I
for sure.
guess.
It feels
Well,
tacked
that's
on.
what they tried to use the second act for, is to set up this big super twist ending. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a spoiler alert here just so we can talk about it easier. But they set up, this thing with this couple's kid being gone. You don't see any sign of her except for her room's there, stuff like that. You see
Kate.
a couple pictures.
Yeah. There's
Was
like
it
no, Kate. There's like a
Yes.
they show like her door, like has their name on it and stuff. I mean,
In her
It's-
childlike bedroom. Then they show some pictures later on, so you could kind of guess what was going on. But they didn't do enough with that information. They didn't
Right.
flesh it out. If they would have had the old people expanding on not just the stuff they were doing, but also talking about how much she reminds them of their daughter or something, some
Exactly.
hint.
It's not like playing into what's happening. It's just like they stop for a second to go, oh, and also this. You're gonna find out about that later. So you're like, can we get to later now so I can just find out? Like, because all that's happening right now is this guy's eating milk and cookies and getting a shot in his butt.
Well, and they had a good opening for that too when the old lady started showing them when they're sitting down for tea, and she was showing them the photo album because Maisie Williams' picture was in there, right? So
Well, yeah,
maybe
'cause
they
it was just an album
they
of-
could
it
have
was
set
an
it
a-
up. She was picking them out or something.
It was an album of like missing girls or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very weirdly structured movie.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk more about dreadlock? Can someone explain to me why you just have one dreadlock in the back?
dude, that was a look. Like that was a real look that he had. I mean, I don't know. That's where I say I think
It
culturally,
was like a contoured rat tail.
this was this was another thing I was.
No,
I
it
think
was
I
a.
said
I mean, it was
email.
a. It was a full-on dreadlock. I'm
Was
not
it?
joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Was
it was like molded.
To
I
me-
couldn't just tell if he was greasy or it was a dreadlock. I
No, it
just thought he
was.
a
It was.
greasy human
So
being.
like it was hair and it was normal, and then it was tied, and then afterwards tied off, it became a dreadlock. Like he made one,
Yeah.
which is a
this
weird.
Is another
freaking
movie.
thought.
Like I would argue that this movie benefited, for me at least, in that it was British because there was at least like some texture to it that I was like somewhat unfamiliar. So
Oh,
the other
yeah,
movie,
sure.
we haven't necessarily talked about it, but like this movie is pretty close to Don't Breathe. It's like
Yeah.
sort of a
Yeah.
more black comic version of that film, and obviously like
little
old
wackier.
people as but
As
even
opposed to just
I mean,
a
again,
blind vet, John. Nothing wacky there.
well, the spoiler and
Except
like
for the
Casey
turkey
kind of
baster.
teed it up, but it's the same ending too, which I think is like the bigger issue in a lot of ways.
yeah, kind
but-
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, it's close enough,
Yeah,
right?
no, I
No, but the fact that like we're joking about Rat Tail Guy or whatever the hell he is, like instead of it just being
Gaz.
like, instead of in Don't Breathe, it's sort of like American lowlives, like which we're familiar with. These were like British lowlives.
Yeah,
Which
no, I get it.
had
It's a little something
there's
different.
something
to it,
Yeah,
you know?
man, I get it. Mix it up a little. I gotta say,
Something new instead of watching Earl and
I'm
Randy.
really uncomfortable with the word "gaz" because it just sounds like British slang for like some kind of bodily fluid or something.
Yeah, I guessed all over the place.
I wonder if
I
that's
went
short for
to
something.
prom and she danced too close to me, and then I guessed in my suit.
Dude,
Look,
yes.
that could be where it came from. It's a nickname. It clearly,
Yeah.
I don't think his mother.
No,
named him
like if
Gas.
you found out that was his nickname and also what it was meant, you'd kind of be like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
Ugh,
That's
don't
how
take
he.
a black light to this room. I bet there's gas all over the place.
That's how he gets the dreadlock to stay in place.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, do you think he's like the
Oh.
British version of Something About Mary? Like this is there.
Hey,
Oh,
it could
God.
be because Gaz is. I've confirmed my suspicion. Gaz is a pet form of the name Gary.
Oh,
What?
that's weird.
Yeah.
I carried all
Oh.
over the place.
Good God.
No, but I mean, like, I'm curious how everyone felt about Maisie Williams. I think this is the first thing I've seen her in other than Game of Thrones.
I think she's
And, like-
fine. I just think she's given literally nothing to work with,
Yeah,
Well, that's what I
agree
was gonna
with Eric.
say. I tend to agree. Like,
and she's
I
really good
actually-
at the intensity, like the things that
Yes.
Yeah.
she's got to be scared or she's fighting back. Like she's really good at that stuff.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if you've seen the trailer. She's going to be in that new, the New Mutants that's coming out here soon too.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
from what we've seen in the trailers and stuff, seems like she's pretty solid in that too. I
Is
agree
that
with
a
Eric. I
like
just
comic
don't think
book
she.
thing, or what the fuck is that?
Yes, it's an X-Men
Like
horror
all
movie.
they needed to do, right? So they pull in, or she pulls in. I don't even remember how she gets there because they have her
She's on a
car.
bike.
She rode a bike
Right.
because she was
Yeah.
trying to find her car.
The
'cause she had to
scumbag
get to work.
boyfriend kind of took her car, and it's like, you know, she's first of all, she's never met Gaz before. She's like, who's this fuckhead in the back seat? And
Mhm.
she's yelling at him like, I want my car back. She kind of realizes he's there like their case in the place, and she's just like, what is going on? This is the moment where you can interject just like a little bit of dialogue about like, I thought we were gonna like get our lives together, or like you promised me, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But it's just her yelling, like, what are you doing? Stop it! Like
Well,
they're just using.
Why
like
didn't
that
she ride her
scene.
bike
It
to
felt
work?
real to me. That
It
scene
felt real. That's
Yeah.
fine. But like when you know where she's gonna end up later in the movie, this is your opportunity. Like the fact that she is such a kind of like, I don't know, like she's such a pushover in the face of this dude who's such a dingus. And I understand relationship dynamics and it, but you're watching a movie. Give me something. Give me like some reason to root
Yeah.
for her.
yeah.
Like
Well, I think
Well,
that's
him
what they
lo-
tried to do with the pregnancy, right? But like
Yeah,
by that point,
it's just cheap
you're-
screenwriting.
Yeah,
It was
you're
in a
like
weird
30
order.
minutes in, and like they've kind of set her up that like she just wants nothing to do with this. But then she gets inside. They talk about the pregnancy, and then all of a sudden they're about to go to like the bone zone.
Yeah, that scene was weird, and I didn't like.
That was
yeah.
super weird.
Yeah, you're like, all right, so now she's just given up and wants to get down. Like,
I mean, it's
all
a-
right,
well,
the thing
that,
is,
and
like-
she started calling him on the phone and said, "Hey, you guys have been in there forever. I have to be at work. Where
Yeah.
are you?" And he said, "Just come on in. You're gonna love it. Just come
Well,
on
like,
in." So
and-
she got suckered in pretty easily.
First of
'cause it would
all-
have been really good opportunity to say "fuck you" and leave.
Where
I mean,
do
do you
you-
think they were hinting at that he has like a huge penis? Like, cause that, I mean, that could have been like, you're gonna love it. I mean, and again, like, I'm not shaming anyone. Like, if that's, you know, what they get into, like, good for her. But I needed that backstory.
Like where does she work and when did she have to work? Because she shows up and like hours fucking later, she's still like, I have to go to work, and you're like, I
Well, yeah,
think you
that's-
missed
that's
it
right, 'cause
already.
She could have rode her bike.
She has
Casey,
like,
that's a really she wrote out there,
conversation-
just ride to work,
Yeah.
dude.
She has a conversation on the phone that like just keep like it almost sounds like she's a realtor or something. She's like, just keep them there. I'll be there in like an hour. But like, yeah, we don't really get like what the hell's going on here.
So
Ah.
somehow I thought she worked at an old person's home.
Yeah, somebody says the home. The boyfriend says you don't have to work at the home anymore. Keep
you
them
go,
there, right?
okay.
They're not going
Just
anywhere.
keep
dude.
them there.
Yeah,
Again, like builds the story that like maybe she has like an old person fetish. So like she gets in the house, she sees all like these old people pictures, and she's like, oh,
Worked
I gotta fuck right now. Like let's get this going.
Joe,
like-
you're committing to this.
The boyfriend's like, you're gonna love it. So now I think we're piecing this together. She's got a thing.
I mean,
And
that whole
sometimes, John, you got to do what you got to do to make it through the movie.
that whole
True.
scene was just so weird, in that like I don't know what the movie's trying to tell me, and at that point, like that is the point where the movie should be telling me some really clear things about who she is, so that later, when you make it her the main character, I understand exactly who I'm rooting for, how to feel,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Instead of just screamy and gullible.
It really bothered me that like she was still kind of defending that dude deep into the third act when he had proved himself totally fucking useless and betraying her like multiple times, and she's still like, no, I want him. And it's like, no, dude. Also, he's tried to like rape her twice basically at this point in the movie. Like, what the fuck? Just go.
And like you said, there
Well, she
are
couldn't get out. I
unfortunately.
mean, there was an element of like at a certain point she couldn't leave the house anyway. So
Yeah.
No, but he was like,
But I mean, there's.
he goes, you want him, right? And she goes, yes, I do, and the keys. And it's like, no, you don't, dude. Like, don't.
Oh yeah, sorry. You
That-
mean, yes.
That is the specific point that I was like, why?
Well, she seemed Why she was trying to get him out? It seemed like she was trying to use. I thought she was trying to use him just to get herself out, and I do think that was the play
Yes,
for a
but he
little
was
while.
useless.
But then, yeah, he was useless.
Oh, and
I don't know.
also, like, Maisie Williams is, like, a very tiny person, and she's somehow hilariously, with the worst hidden, like, fake cuts ever, like, drags his body all the way to that van, and then it cuts, and she's just throwing him right into the van. No problem.
That Terry character was my
No.
biggest problem with the movie.
He's
maybe.
the worst. Yeah.
It just made no goddamn sense. Yeah.
Well, it's even when they explain it, I don't think I fully understand what his deal was.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean is like what makes no sense is what's his relationship to the old people? Like,
Okay,
even
I'm
after
glad
he
you are
gets the
saying
shot-
that. I'm glad you're saying that because I kind of felt like it was going to be one of those things where Joe accuses me of not watching the movie. But by the time it was over, I was still very confused about that whole relationship.
I'll go one better, Eric. I don't remember what's actually in the safe. Did we ever find out?
Oh, I mean, okay, Joe. Are you kidding?
I can't tell if you're trolling us right now.
No, I'm 100% not. I was thinking about it when you were giving the synopsis, and
It's-
like, I
it's
sat
not
there
a
and
safe.
watched.
It like opens the whole wall, and that's where the like.
Oh, all right. I completely spaced
I
out.
was
and
with Joe. I didn't catch that.
legit was watching. Like, I wasn't looking at my phone or anything.
mean,
I don't know
and
how
it
I
kinda
missed
like-
that.
It's
It
quick.
doesn't-
Like when he does it, it is like a very quick.
Like, it
thing.
barely changes the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
like it's just kind of there at the end. You're like, all right, dude, cool.
Yeah, I mean the other big part of it is that, and the part to me that I don't want to say felt the most unearned. I don't know if I the reveal of who is in there. Not even that there's somebody behind that wall, but like who exactly
To me, at
it
some
is.
point, even though I had no idea what was happening, at some point, I assumed that's not exactly the way it went down, but I assumed that person was coming back at some point.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So.
But I had to rewind it like 2 or 3 times and watch that again to make sure like I
Well,
actually
you can-
understood who that person was.
They make her look so different, you can barely tell. That's kind of a problem. Like, you
That
need...
was Maisie in the room, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, 100%. I thought it was the boyfriend. I thought they had dressed up the boyfriend to look like a girl.
So we're not spoiler warning.
Holy shit!
Hey, I dropped
No,
a spoiler alert earlier.
So this is where I say like they actually do tee most of that stuff up throughout in the script
That's just
because
like, it's like costume design 101 though. Like, you have to very clearly see exactly who she is, and they make her look so different. Like, it took me
I
a
was
minute.
sort of like squinting at the screen like
Yes.
you know, and it was her, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they mention, oh, she's a twin, and then there's the whole scene where she's yelling at Terry, you made her leave, and like Terry's like, he says something along the lines of like, maybe she didn't leave, or like, you don't know where she went, or something like that, which indicates that he knows that she's there. So that's where, back to the question of like,
Right,
what Terry's
right.
relationship is with the old people. Like, is he always helping them, or is he only
That's
helping
what
them this time?
It seemed like he does help them, yeah.
Yeah, well, I that was sort of my read on it, but
Can I say that his mother at the end is like the most British person ever on earth? I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever heard a more British person speak.
she looks she looked a lot to me like the woman who won the Oscar for The Favorite.
Yeah, Olivia.
Yes,
I can't think of her last name.
yeah, but that actress.
Oh, she's delightful. What is her
Yeah, no,
name?
she's the
Olivia
best.
Colman. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could have, if you told me it was her sister, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
So
Then what would you say after that?
I'd be like, cool. Good
Yeah.
family.
Okay.
Great family.
I'm picking up things you guys are dropping here, and I'm gonna drop a spoiler. So was that actual Maisie's character from the beginning in the room, or her twin sister that's been missing?
I think it was her.
It's
twin
the
sister.
twin.
sister,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
twin.
yeah. Oh, all right,
Yeah, that's
good,
the point. Is
good.
that the
Oh,
twin has been there
I
all
thought
along.
they were. I thought they were
Yes.
kidnapping Maisie to take their daughter.
Which is why that scene, I think, in the filmmakers' heads, would be really powerful at the end because that guy has some kind of weird obsession. I guess they dated. She made it sound like they dated.
Yeah.
They
Maisie
did. Yeah,
Williams
yeah.
made it
Terry-
sound like
Terry
he
was with
dated
the
the
twin
sister.
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry was with the twin sister, and Nathan, who's Terry's best friend.
I mean, but even that
then-
thread, like, she's like, you treated her so bad she had to disappear. And it's like, you guys never thought that maybe she just got abducted or something? Like,
No,
I
well,
mean-
she said that she
Do
like
people
hated
just-
him, and that like
Yeah,
she
but,
said she
like,
felt bad for. I mean,
break up
this
with
is
him,
the other
dude.
question: is like, is Terry like, is he meant to be mentally handicapped or like of diminished capacity? Like,
I mean, at that point,
yeah.
I had spent 45 minutes with Terry, and I totally got why she would disappear. Like,
Yeah, he's
I
fucking
get
the
it.
worst.
Yeah, he cries a lot.
Like, if I had to choose between being in a room with him or Gaz, I'm not sure what I would go with.
Terry also needs to get that ear piercing looked at because that thing looked infected.
I mean,
it fell
Joe,
out, right?
Joe,
That
Joe,
was another
legitimate question.
moment.
You have to hang out in a room for 1 hour with either, what was his name? No, what's the other-
Gaz.
Gaz
Gaz.
or
Probably Gary. We suspect
Terry.
Gary.
Gaz or Terry. You pick. No television.
gonna-
You guys just have to talk.
yeah.
And no beer.
Oddly enough, I'm gonna go Gaz, and here's why. Terry is gonna fart a lot. Like, like Terry looks like he smells like farts.
Yeah, but
and
I don't
like,
think Gaz
He's
showers,
gonna
though.
fart and cry.
if we're on a deck somewhere and I have to spend time,
Where there's
I'll
some
go
air.
Terry. But
that
if
makes
I have
sense.
to be in a closed room, no, I can't. I can't spend time with Terry.
I'm 100% with Joe here. It's
I
Gaz
feel
over
like-
Terry.
If I
Yeah.
listen, if I have assurances that Gaz is not going to try to kill me,
Yeah.
then I feel like that dude could spin a yarn. Like he could tell me a story.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. If there's
I-
no risk of me getting a staph infection,
Exactly.
then I'll.
I just don't wanna
stay with
sit
As long
Terry.
as I don't
You
have
don't
to
have to make
touch
out
the
with him,
dreadlock.
like-
Yeah, like I don't want to sit too close to him.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have to make out with him to get a staph infection, John. I think he's very like COVID-y. Like you need to stay 6 feet away, or you're gonna catch
Like
a lot of.
The
a lot
dreadlock
of
is just concentrated COVID.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a stinger, like a scorpion or something. It just like comes out at you. It's like-
Oh my god.
It's Joe. It's his natural defense mechanism.
yeah, except it doesn't like kill you or anything. It just turns you into trash.
Good lord, yeah, it's like the reverse Midas touch. I get it. All right, guys. Would you recommend the owners? Question mark, John,
I'm gonna go no.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no too. I feel like when we first started this discussion, I would have been like on the fence, but now I really dislike this movie.
Casey.
I'm still right with Joe. I was kind of on the fence at the beginning too, but yeah, no.
I'm gonna say no. You could choose to watch the first 40 minutes as like a short movie, and just stop it
Yeah.
at the point. It'll be pretty obvious when to stop it. When Gaz is gone, stop.
Mm.
And then from that point on, just fast forward until you see scenes with the old people.
No.
When
they're
when
don't.
Gaz gets got, that is actually
Gaz gets
it's
got.
a really good scene.
It's the name
That's
of
a
his,
great
it's the
scene.
name of his autobiography.
No, and to Casey's point, I really liked both of the. I actually thought all the acting was good. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still sticking with no though.
Like, I think the old couple actors are good. It's just that I got so annoyed with the movie that I then started getting annoyed with their fucking shtick because it's just the same shit over and over. And I'm not getting anything new. And it's like, I get it. You guys are like weird, creepy with each other. I don't know. Whatever. 4 thumbs down from the BGH crew. And I guess from CC too, because she didn't even want to show up tonight. So there's your answer there.
Yeah, we didn't mention though it's her anniversary.
It's-
We
yeah.
missed that.
Yes.
Her
That.
BGH anniversary, to be clear. It took us a little while to figure out
Yes,
which
that is true.
anniversary.
All right, guys. That's going to do it for the owners. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
You can't cheat death. We won't know unless we try.
On November 4th, the greatest horror classic of its time becomes the most chilling epic of our time.
It's alive.
Francis Ford Coppola presents a Kenneth Branagh film.
Well done.
Robert De Niro. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Rated R. Starts Friday, November 4th at a theater near you.
Hi, this is Tom Savini, and you're listening to BloodyGoodHorror.com.
feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Gazzed all over. Joe, got a couple things going on at BGH right now.
Wait, you said gazzed all over me?
No.
I missed that.
That was supposed to be a segue. It didn't quite work the way I envisioned it. We should mention, we'll just mention like vaguely that we're working on some fun spooky time plans for October, but you got to be a patron to find out about it. So patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. You do not have to be a patron, however, to participate in the BGH 5K. For the first time ever, Joe, the second one we've done this year.
Yeah. So this one, I think, we did one a couple months back during the initial quarantine just to kind of have something to do. But this is the annual. It's the official 5K, and this time we've actually added a 10K. There's going to be 2 different medals, most likely.
Oh.
You only get one. A couple of people asked on Slack, and I realized that we never really specified. But like, if you run the 10K, I'm not sending you both medals.
Yeah,
and
screw
if
you,
run the 10K,
You
Overachiever.
overachieving bastard.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
like we're doing this for free.
Get
so,
your try-hard ass out here.
go fuck yourselves. But the weekend of October 16th, we're doing it Friday through Sunday, just because normally we do it just Saturday and Sunday, but nobody's working, so you got all weekend. You go out, you either run a 5K or a 10K. You email bloodygoodhorror@gmail.com your results. Post up pictures, use hashtags, run BGH, do whatever, and we'll tally up the results. We'll only send out awards to folks in the continental U.S. here, just because shipping right now is a big problem outside of the U.S. especially. But we have in past years offered up back episodes to folks outside the U.S. that have run, so we'll get you something there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can run, you can walk, you can do whatever the hell you want. There's no, we don't post anyone's time, so it's not about, trying to beat John, because you're not gonna. It's just have a good time. In the past years, it's been a lot of fun, and we've had a really big turnout. So hopefully we get another one this year. And,
we had a great turnout for the first. We did one in May, just kind of because like everybody's like this quarantine bullshit and wanted to get people out, and we had an amazing turnout.
Yeah, it worked out really well. But this one, it's kind of it's the big boy. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, love it. Stay tuned to the show for more information on that. Got an update from Sophie on Tweet with BGH. As summer draws to a close and people's schedules begin. Oh, Joe, you know what I gotta do? I gotta word wrap this, Joe, so I can read it. So instead of scrolling back and forth. As summer draws to a close and people's schedules begin to get more filled up, Tweet with BGH is going to transition to every other week rather than weekly. We'll be taking off this week, but we'll be back Saturday, September 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern for our second movie in Back to School month. And she's going to let the fans pick the movie. So it's between Jennifer's Body, Cry Wolf, Student Bodies, and the 2002 version of Carrie. Who was that? Angela Bettis in that?
No, that was maybe, I don't know, but it was Chloe Grace Moretz.
Not in 2002, dude. She would have been like 10 years old or something.
Wait, what the fuck was that? Was that Carrie 2?
I'm pretty sure.
Carrie 2.
Electric Boogaloo?
I'm pretty.
I actually
whatever.
don't know what movie the hell
Let
you're
somebody
talking
fucking
about now.
Google it while I'm talking, please. Anyway, follow BGH New Class Live on Twitter for updates and the chance to cast your vote on what fun spooky school movie we cover.
Wait, was there another Carrie reboot in 2002?
It's Angela Bettis. It's I think it was a made-for-TV thing.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I think.
Oh, Patricia Clarkson. She is delightful, John.
She's the mom from
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yep.
Oh, that's.
I mean, probably other things.
No,
too,
Patricia
but...
Clarkson was on Home Improvement. Right?
No.
No.
Okay, I don't think
Absolutely not.
That's a hard no.
So what was her name?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Joe, you're
I know who
right.
you're talking about.
I'm looking at it.
But
Okay,
they-
now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
I
um,
don't think she's ever been in anything else either.
Well, wasn't she like a little? There was
Okay,
something.
her name
Oh,
is Patricia
Patricia Richardson.
So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
I had
that's not-
half of it.
No, she is still very attractive.
Jesus Christ, Joe! I knew where this was going as soon as
I
you
mean,
did.
hello, aged like fine wine. All right. Lots of gas all over the place.
Okay, Joe. Next up, little missive from Andy on bloodygoodhorror.com. Jason interviewed Michael Grey Eyes and L. Maya
Can't be right.
Tail Feathers from Blood Quantum. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Adam, well, he actually spelled it phonetically, so I'm pretty positive that's right. Adam will also have a new In Extremis discussing Blood Quantum. That's, of course, Adam, our lawyer, talks about movies from a legal perspective. Shelton, Adam, and Luke rounded out their coverage of the Fantasia Film Festival. Their top-rated films include Lucky, Kriya, The Mortuary Collection, and The Curse of Audrey Earnshaw. So keep those in your radars. Lastly, Jason continues breaking down every episode of Lovecraft Country. That's a TV show on the HBO there, Joe, but I don't see it because $15 a month. $15 a month
It's
for one
it's
streaming
pretty fun.
for one
Hey,
streaming
you wanna know how
service is a little
fucked up
rich.
2020 is, Eric? I caught a spelling mistake today in one of the articles.
Oh my god.
It is fucked up because I saw somebody screen cap one of your Twitter posts or something today with several very glaring spelling errors.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore.
I think of it as creative spelling.
Yeah.
That's, you know. So
Anyway, no other fan mail. info@bloodygoodhorror.com is the email address. What do we got on Twitter?
We got a lot. So strap in, kids. First up from our good friend Cheesy Whiz. That's Erica, formerly of Night of the Living podcast fame, and an all-around great person. Do you think Antebellum is a horror movie, and will you cover it when it finally gets to be released?
It looked like it to me. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
The trailer looks really interesting to me.
yeah, it's Jordan Peele produced as well.
So I think
they're definitely marketing it that way.
I think there's
Yeah,
value
yeah.
in at least checking it out. I think the filmmaker's a woman too, right? I think so.
You got a 50% chance of being right.
That's true.
So-
Actually, John, that's not how math works, John. If it was
No,
any
it's-
given person, there'd be a 50% chance. If it's a
Yeah,
person
all
directing
right,
a movie,
I get it. It's, you know.
John.
Next up from Beard81 Dad. Should Eric do his top 10 ranking based on running time? If so, would that make The Host the best movie BGH has ever reviewed?
I mean, I kind of did already, right?
I believe it is your number one right now at present. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
I'm
up there.
taking back what I said about the directors of
Hmm.
Antebellum. Just kidding.
Next up from Chase_TX. After seeing The Rental and The Owners, what real estate advice do you have?
I don't know. That owner's house looked very nice. So I would say buy your house early and like live in it for
Yeah.
a long time. That seems
Yeah,
like
go back in time 30 years to when homes were affordable, and that's pretty much your only option.
Yeah.
Plan out your basement laboratory very well so it's hidden nicely.
Next up, Attorney at Space. That's our very own Adam Space lawyer. What's your favorite depiction of the devil in media other than John Milton poetry? John, you probably get that reference. I don't know what.
Yeah, I did. Paradise Lost.
You know what I was thinking of today? I don't know why, but did you ever see not the 2000 remake, but there was 1967. It came out, Bedazzled,
I knew
Yeah.
you were going there as soon as you said
Right?
remake. Yeah.
with Dudley Moore. Peter Cook plays
Isn't it-
the devil, like. And that movie is so much fun. And I remember I stumbled on it when I was like 12 or something, like too young to fully understand it. But like, I've watched it a number of times since, and I love it every time.
I've never actually seen the original. I've seen the remake, not several times, but I've seen it at least once or twice. Elizabeth Hurley plays the devil,
Yeah.
and I would put her above the gentleman that you said played
Peter
the
Cook.
devil. Yeah,
I
Peter-
would, John. I feel like you would dig the original. Like,
Oh,
definitely
I
go
know,
back. It is a ton of fun, and it
Yeah.
is great.
I know it's well regarded. I haven't not watched it for any specific reason or anything. You know.
Raquel Welch is in the original John, and I'll tell you something.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there, Joe. I'm with you on that one.
Anybody else? Any other devil depictions?
I like the dude that plays him in Lucifer, Tom Ellis,
Al Pacino.
who is a
So I knew exactly where you were going, Eric.
I mean, like his, like whatever. I get it. People, old Pacino mileage varies for people, but his fucking speeches in that movie are epic. Like he has some just
great.
amazing, because that's like he's doing some real ass devil work in that movie, right? Like he's just giving him the like temptation versus this and like all the stuff with Charlize Theron, and it's fucking, to me it's Pacino, and of course like Legend is pretty fucking amazing too.
No, yeah.
Tim Curry and Legend, just for the fucking effects work and like his voice.
Next up from our buddy.
Sorry,
Nope.
you see Legend as a kid, that fucks you up. As a kid, that Tim Curry in Legend is like terrifying.
Oh,
That's what you're going with for your excuse. you saw Legend as a kid.
You don't find that
Never-
scary, dude? I still find
No,
it scary.
I've never seen Legend. Actually.
Oh,
It's a-
dude, you should see
Really?
Legend. It's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
yeah, yeah.
If you have any appreciation for like 80s fantasy horror movies, like you should check it out.
yeah. That would not be like a bad, like when we run out of movies and need to do
I
like
would
some older ones.
Totally do Legend, yeah.
Next up from Nuke Spook. Scariest part was the spank on Terry's butt by the old lady.
Yes.
It was actually, there was a kiss, right? She kissed
She
him on the ass
kissed
after.
his butt after she
Yeah.
gave him the shot. It's horrifying.
Reminiscent of the bear scene in The Shining. Also, are we still doing BGH classics? No, we are not.
I guess reminiscent because it's just kind of like a vignette as she's walking by the room, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Why'd that happen? Next up from Fusilatoro. What about this weather?
I'm ready. I'm honestly just ready for the cold, and I've never thought I'd fucking say that in my life. But I'm
It's
sick of
been
the. I'm sick.
60s here.
I'm annoyed that the
Yeah.
humidity keeps coming back in.
Yeah, it's been 60s here the last couple days, and it will be tomorrow. I think this weekend gets like low 70s, but like it's definitely fall time weather. And I'm
Yeah.
very
We're
excited.
getting there. It's kind of day to day. It's like it feels that way at night, but not during the day.
Yeah.
It was cool enough in August for a campfire this weekend. That was pretty sweet.
Lewis Black has a great bit about how weather in the Northeast in the fall is like having the flu, because you're cold and then you're sweating and then you're cold again.
Next up from our very good friend, Mi Corazon, Mi Amor. In honor of CC's podcast birthday with Bloody Good Horror, what's your favorite CC moment on Bloody Good Horror? I gotta go with Fangate from episode 499 because it's a ceiling fan, fuckers. And telling Joe off in episode 378, I'm gonna need you to back the fuck off.
That was a good
telling
one.
Joe off is like a.
I
there's
mean,
a very long list of that.
Yeah, I
to
mean,
me, it's-
your life is a waste of a six pack.
Your
I
life,
forget what
like,
episode it is, but that sticks.
when she stone cold fucking took your life on the street
Mm.
in broad daylight like a fucking psycho and just
Yeah.
out of nowhere said your life is a waste of and like
Yeah.
not as a joke. That's kind of what I
Well, it's
I don't
so
know if
deadpan,
enjoy is the right
Like,
word, but what I appreciate about CC is she will say that shit with a straight face, and I don't think she would have even looked up and cared what anyone's reaction was if we all hadn't lost our minds when she said it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
it
Like
some
she
definitely-
in
would
there.
she would have just murdered you and casually continued on her day.
Yeah. It definitely knocked the wind out of you.
I don't know what episode it is, but I know we have a fan that made a gift for us of when Cece's door opened in the background and she thought she had a ghost. That
Like,
was pretty.
there's
Oh,
a-
that was great.
There's a
yeah.
very specific thing I feel, and I feel like I'm in the nerd room right now, so you guys get this, like, or maybe not Joe, because Joe tries to act cool, but like, you remember the original? You remember the original Doom?
I don't try.
How in the original
Yes.
Doom, every once in a while you could get the monsters to like fight against each other. Like if you kind of ducked out of the way of a shot and one monster hit another one, it was in the code that they would fight each other, and then you just kind of back up and like let them fuck each other up. That's kind of how I feel when I sense that Casey is about to run at Joe or vice versa. Like I will just
Cece.
Casey doesn't. Yeah.
No,
I don't run
Cece.
at anybody really.
Cece, like I will just back away and let it happen because I kind of want to just like see how it's gonna play out, and I don't want to get caught in the shrapnel.
Yeah. It's fun. I no grudge ever. Like I generally I enjoy it as maybe not as much as you guys, but it is. You know,
Well, she's not telling me my life is a waste of a six pack.
yeah.
I
But,
get
I mean,
it.
You know. Where's my cursor here? We got a few more. They tove a lot of numbers that I'm not going to read. Would you like to see a ghost, assuming you haven't already, and I'm not offering?
Would I like to
No.
see a ghost?
Hard no for me.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm fine. Not
I
seeing
think it would be really fucked up to
Yeah.
like see one as an adult for the first time. Like, I think that'd be really fucked up. Like, you go your whole
Yeah.
life not seeing a ghost. You're pretty confident. Like, I probably won't ever see a ghost, and like then to just see one, I think that'd be pretty fucked up.
Two from Lord Sharkington. If you could have a prop replica from any horror movie ever, what?
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good question.
I think the obvious answer is the gate from The Gate.
Yeah. I had a friend that had a prop rifle from Aliens, and I was pretty jealous of that pulse rifle.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Casey,
that'd
that
be
is
pretty sick.
like, I get it. It's also the nerdiest thing you've ever fucking said.
Yeah.
No, it'd be. I
quote,
mean, look,
quote
that's-
unquote,
that's-
I was pretty jealous of that pulse rifle.
Well, here's the thing:
It's
if you
pretty
had
cool.
if you had a prop gun from most movies, it's just like, oh yeah, it looks like a fucking gun.
How
But, like,
about-
if it's from like a sci-fi thing like that, it's like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay, I know exactly. What that's
Here's a
from.
deep cut. How about the bowling trophy from Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowlerama?
There you go.
Oh.
Maybe with Imp inside of it, so you could just pose him like he's popping out.
Second one from Lord Sharkington. Scream 5. Dewey and Gale gonna die this time?
Oh, I mean, let's hope. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They whatever. They should have made Sydney the killer in the last one, and they.
Ooh. Chris Allington. At what point does COVID hair become full-on David Spade cosplay?
Ask John. I mean, John's
Yeah,
doing
I
it
was gonna
right
say,
now.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here right now.
Skizbot, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, or Leatherface, whose mask smells worse inside?
I mean,
Leatherface,
Leatherface
right?
is
Like,
made out of
that's-
skin.
Leatherface.
And
Yeah.
years ago, I interviewed Robert Burns, who did like really interesting dude who I think might have been a straight psycho, like who did all the props for that movie, and it's all real. Like, it's not human, but it's all actual tanned leather. Like, he set out to make it like you would a skin shit, basically. And all this stuff in the house is the same way. It's all real bones and real leather and stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, that one smells by far.
Here's
the
one
worst.
from Metal Prof. Well then, which spooky fictional character reminds you the most of John? Bigfoot, the Wolfman, or Cousin It?
Because of the hair. Cousin It. Because in order to be Bigfoot or the Wolfman, he'd have to have body hair, which he doesn't.
Yeah.
Cousin
yeah,
It just has head hair that like covers him.
Yeah, at least we think. I don't know. You never see underneath.
That's my guess anyway.
Two more tweets, and then we'll bang through Instagram a little bit. J.M. McGoggles. I'm saying that wrong, but let's just move on.
No, you're doing great.
When did the Federation of German Princes meet and agree to allow unkept hair as an acceptable appearance?
That's a good point, John. I'm
Mm.
sure they didn't let you do that.
This was because you posted about my hair being ridiculous looking, I believe.
I'm sure they
John.
didn't let you do that at the Academy for German Princes. I'm sure you had to keep it high and tight.
Last one.
Well, so wait,
on
so
Twitter.
John in particular, I believe this is John from Slack, and he was just posting last week. He went back and was listening to that original episode where I found, it was a year ender, where I found the German Prince picture. So I think that's why it's
Very
funny.
handsome prince. Very handsome.
Looks just like you.
Oh, you know. Good looking
Next,
man.
last but not least, on Twitter, and I think he actually sent this in on Instagram too. If you, this is Robale. If you drop an ice cube, you A, pick it up, B, kick it under the fridge or stove. Also, why is the guy who doesn't wash his legs mean in his Instagram replies?
I'm going with kicking under the stove.
You know, you pick it up. Or like, when our old dog was still alive, she would eat the whole thing, so I would just let her have it. But now I just pick them up, and I might throw it into the sink, just let it melt.
So we've had a problem where there was like a leak in the ice maker in the fridge, and
Yep.
it like warped the floor. So
Oh.
now it's like that shit hits the floor. I am like, whoa, you know, like all over it.
You're what?
So-
Did you just gas?
Yeah, that's what I do when the ice hits the floor.
Oh.
It's terrible. It's like a whole
No,
thing.
I agree.
Your
Yeah,
poor
we have
wife.
our wooden floors in the kitchen. Like you can't let water sit on that.
No, yeah, we literally had to replace like.
Well,
two
and I had to
wood
stop
sinks.
even letting the dog do it because she would eat half of it, and then I would find a puddle where the rest of it had melted.
All right, let's do a few Instagram just to round things out. I got one here. I used to do hair professionally before I was a real housewife of my southern suburb. In my new mid-apocalyptic life, I need a new job. What do you suggest?
Wow, that's a good question.
So my wife has been telling me about she's on the what is that, the snap, not the Snapchats, what's the new one that the kids are using, the TikToks?
TikToks.
So there's this woman who was posting things like, I don't know, some song, it doesn't matter, but then she started talking about like what her actual job is, and apparently she does voiceover work for like romance and like porn novels. And there's like a site you can pretty much just sign up to be like, you know, you put in like a sample, and if you get selected, like they'll pay you a certain amount of money. You just like do it from home.
Yeah, no,
Like,
totally. I mean, I'm sure there's specific sites for that, but I know like Fiverr.com, you can do anything on there. And I've gone on there. I've actually gone on there and looked for voice people for the show in the past. So like people find stuff that way.
Yeah.
That's good, Joe. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a
Very
great one.
nice.
Especially like, I mean, if you're a woman, like guys are, you know, they'll listen to any woman talk dirty. Like,
Yeah. And if you cut hair, you probably got a good voice, you know?
yeah,
Talk to people all the time.
nobody wants to listen to me, but you go for it.
Yeah. Love it.
I don't know, Joe. I'd listen
All right,
to
thanks,
you.
buddy.
I'm saying, yeah.
I think, yeah. I love that. It's good advice, Joe.
We got one favorite sparkling water flavor. I go grapefruit bubbly.
It all tastes like TV static.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. You know what
Oh, I
my
drink a
problem is?
lot
My
of,
problem is with like that shit
sparkling
and
water.
seltzer is I'm just thirsty when I'm done, and I'm like, okay, I gotta drink water now. Like I don't know what it is.
I love
just-
it when I'm eating my lunch. that's what I want when I'm eating my lunch. You
See,
know?
Leslie drinks them too. Like she loves them. They always taste like just muted to me. Like there's
Yeah.
not enough flavor. Although my reply was I'll use the lime one with gin, and it's like as close to a gin and tonic without, you know, having to use actual tonic as you're gonna get.
Yeah. I like a good like an orange. Like an orange.
I say any of the citrus are
Yeah.
very drinkable. You get I don't know, you get spicy. If they're trying to make them too taste fake sweet, that's where you run into problems.
Well,
Yeah.
we're talking. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. I think we're talking about like a.
I've tried hard to get into the LaCroix thing when I was dieting, and it just didn't work.
I mean, just drink water. Honestly, like it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good for your body, John. It hydrates you. It's good.
I
For
mean,
your
I
skin.
drink water most of the day,
Good.
and then at lunch I have a LaCroix sparkling water
Well,
situation.
la di da.
All
Your
right,
Grey
I'll
Poupon.
pick a few random ones. Best driving song ever.
Good question.
Anyone?
For me,
I,
it's Even Flow Pearl Jam.
Now, are we
Ooh.
talking about songs we like to drive to, or songs about driving?
I think just songs that are like good to drive to. I don't think it has to be about driving.
Interesting. What about that Cake song? That song's pretty dope.
The Distance.
The Distance, yeah.
That's not
That
bad.
is a good. That's a good one.
Like it's a
I
fucking.
mean, there's a lot of songs.
It's got
I
some
feel
real
like.
energy to it. Oh, Metallica did a cover of that Bob
Turn the
Seger song.
page.
Yeah, Turn the Page. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
That's
Yeah.
not bad. Yeah, I went with ZZ Top's Lagrange. You'd know it if you heard it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
How
Let's
about
see.
A Little Life is a Highway, Joe?
Oh, that is nice. It's just a happy. Here's another music one. What spooky music should I start listening to?
I don't know.
I have no suggestions for spooky music. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure.
I
the-
mean, dude, if you have Spotify, every fucking horror movie soundtrack is on there. So like
Well, yeah,
classic
all right,
ones,
that's-
classic ones,
If you
and
want
also
songs
modern
about
ones.
spooky
Like
shit.
nowadays, when I get out of movies and I really love a score, I like will put it on after I leave. So like I did that after Gretel and Hansel because it's got a pretty awesome soundtrack.
I suggested the Cannibal Holocaust soundtrack.
I saw that. No, that's a good. I mean, that's good, dude. You know what I love that I've discovered I love recently that I didn't know because it's not one I had always listened to was the Prince of Darkness by John Carpenter has a fucking awesome soundtrack that I didn't really realize how good it was.
Well, I mean, if John Carpenter does the soundtrack, which I assume he did,
The other thing I
they're all
found,
gold.
if you're like me and you just can't bring yourself to invest money into vinyl, there are like channels on YouTube that just will like play a vinyl. You know what I mean? So you're listening to a vinyl. It's just like through a digital thing. I like that.
if you're talking about songs with spooky words, lyrics, I'd recommend Harley Poe from out of Indiana. They got some good spooky songs, and they were at one of the horror hounds that we were at.
Do a couple more.
You could listen to Bill Moseley and Buckethead's band called the Cornbugs.
What are you going to be for Halloween? Has anybody decided that?
I have, but I can't tell.
Okay then.
I'm going to use my hair to my advantage and go for a mad scientist / Beekman look.
Nice. Listen, you guys got to do something for our Halloween festivities.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, don't.
All right, let's do one more. Have you? Nope, that's not it. Where's the one? Oh, what's a horror movie you love but you'll never watch more than once?
I kind of feel that way about Hereditary.
That was my answer too, actually.
The other big one would be Martyrs. Loved that movie. I do not think I could sit, especially now. I'm just not in the same. I'm not the same person that wants to see shit like that anymore.
Can I go Human Centipede?
Sure,
Mm.
that's a great answer. Yeah, that's like a pretty good. Like I think we all watched that and we're like, this is way better than it has any right to be. But also, I don't want to have watched it.
No.
Probably about any trauma movie I've enjoyed in the past.
You know what?
I enjoyed it once. I don't need to watch it
Didn't
again.
need to see it the first time.
You know what one we just did that super fits this bill is Nightingale. Like that movie's fucking.
Oh, yeah.
That movie's
That's a
fucking
good
brilliant.
call.
I don't
Yeah.
ever want to watch that movie again.
No. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I think any movie like that where it's just you feel like you need a shower after, like I usually like, but I never want to watch again. All right, so yeah, if I didn't read yours, it either wasn't good enough or we just didn't have time. So I think we can wrap it up.
All right, wonderful. So BGH 5K coming up. Stay tuned to the show for info for that. We got some Halloween festivities for our patrons, so you can check out patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror. We continue to have new people sign up to Slack, seeking a little solace in quarantine. So don't forget to check that out if you end up on Patreon there. And yeah, we got a bunch of stuff in the hopper we haven't quite picked yet. So stay tuned to social. Stay tuned to the Big Show channel on Slack if you're on there, and you'll find out. That's going to do it for the show, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.